going on, everybody? Today we are back on the 300 project. If you didn't watch the last video on it, I will link that here. You might want to go back and watch that first because all this might make a little more sense. But today we just got a few products to make it look a little bit better and just be a little bit better in general. So obviously we got this new seat, we got nice new painted brackets for it. I got the seat off of Marketplace for a pretty good deal because it's got this little tear in it, but that doesn't bother me. If you watched the last video, you will have seen the battery shaking all over the place. We got some battery tie-down straps. I'm just going to try these cheap ones for now, but if they don't work right, then I'll buy the OE tie-down. Then we got some new fuel line because the old lines are pretty hard, probably going to crack pretty soon. So we'll get those replaced. And then if you watched the last video, you remember that I cracked off the valve on the oil pan. So I got a new one of those. Probably not going to get to that this video because I don't want to change the oil again. And then also the fuel pump was leaking a little bit, but that straightened itself out. So I bought a rebuild kit for it, but also probably not going to get to that this video. So, but we'll see. Let's get to it. A couple other quick things about this project. They have these, I don't know if you can see it under there. They have these rubber isolators holding the fender pan on right there. That one is still there, obviously, but this one is, oh, I don't know if you can see it. That right there is just a stack of washers. So I bought a new isolator, so we'll have to put that on. And then while fender pan is off, I believe the transmission fluid on this is pretty low. It seems a little sluggish when moving around and using the implements. So we'll check that. I think the gas tank is still going to be in the way, but it might be a little easier to fill with the fender pan off, but we'll get to that. And then also, you can see that I got tail lights just dangling here, so we'll get those fixed up while the fender pan is off also. The first thing we're going to get to is getting these tires off, because you saw in the intro that I just filled this tire and it's already starting to go flat again. This tire loses air really fast. So let's go over and see where I'm grabbing a new tire from. All right, this is my little John Deere Junkyard back here. They are just some tractors I picked up as a package deal. Obviously this one's got a lot missing. This one's still pretty complete. And that one's 316 and got some stuff missing. But a couple weeks ago I filled the tires on these just to see what held air and what didn't. So that one is still holding some air. And this one still has a little air in it. This one's not as good, but so we'll definitely take this tire off and use it, and then we'll see about the other one because that one still holds air on the other tractor. I wish I could use these front tires, but I believe the open frame models and the closed frame models like the 300 have different hub sizes for the front wheels. We'll take these off and try it out, but I don't think they're gonna work because those are nice and this one's actually really nice and still holding air. So we'll take these off and find out. I got the tires off of the parts tractor now. I did take one of the front tires off, so I'm going to try and stick one of those on right now. If you saw in the time lapse, I showed that the tire from the 316 came off with a snap ring, and the tire, or the wheel on the 300 is bolted on. And that doesn't necessarily mean they're different, but I'm pretty sure the hub is bigger on the 300. So, but we'll take it off and just make sure, because it would be nice to have new front tires. These are pretty worn. So if not, then I'll just grab some new ones. Well, it looks like I was wrong. That wheel actually fits on there. The reason I was questioning it was because I used to have a John Deere 317, and I was swapping wheels between the 317 and the 322 when I wasn't using the 322. And the front wheels from the 322 did not fit on the 317. The hub sizes were different. So I thought maybe it was a difference between the closed frame tractors and the open frame tractors. But maybe it's a power steering tractor to a non-power steering tractor, or something else. So we're going to test that out. I'm going to go grab a front wheel off of the 318 and try putting it on this 300 and see how that works, because now I'm curious. I was just trying to get the wheel from the 318 onto the 300. It looks like the difference in the hub size is actually a difference between the power steering models and the non-power steering models. I'm sure a lot of you watching already knew that and were probably yelling at me before, which is fine. You comment down below how stupid I am for not knowing that. Yeah, and a lot of this channel is obviously trying to teach you guys what I know and showing you how I do things. But a big part of it is also a learning process for me to learn as much as I can about these tractors and all their maintenance items. So little mistakes like that help me too. But hopefully that will help someone out there. Just make sure if you're getting different front wheels for your tractor, make sure they're from the same style. So I believe as long as it's the same power steering or non-power steering, I think you should be good. Hopefully I'm right once again. But if you for sure know what the difference is, you can definitely comment below. Just trying to help out people here. I took the other wheel off of the 316 and put it on here. I am noticing more differences as I go here. It appears the wheel from the 316 is a little narrower. I can't really move it with one hand here, but yeah, I don't know if you can see it moving in there. It does slide back and forth on the spindle, just like a 1/16 of an inch. I'm sure you're asking why I wouldn't just put new tires on. That is ultimately the plan. I like keeping the original parts with the tractor if at all possible. So the plan is to refinish the original wheels, put new tires on them, and put them back on. So really, the tires that I'm going to put on today just need to last me maybe a month or two. Hopefully I can get the wheels refinished and new tires put on before winter, because I believe I'm using this tractor for my snow blowing. But that should wrap up the front here, so let's go to the back. I decided to turn the tractor around so I can have some better light out here. We just got to get the seat off. We're going to pull the tires off and then pull the fender pan off, and then we can get to the fuel line a little easier. So I'm just gonna start taking stuff off. replace the mower deck with the creeper to make this job a little easier.
Bring him in for this one.
You can just hold the bolt on the other side to get that, where are you? To get that knob off. This one I'm probably gonna have to run this back down now. Hopefully that's enough. Okay, and I think we just have to take the filler cap off. And that should just come off. Let's try it out. I just want to show you the hydraulic levers. Don't let the deck come up high enough to clear this yet, so I just gotta run that bolt back until it's about flush with the collar. Now you can see that's what it's supposed to have, that isolator there. You can see they just used a bunch of random, I don't know, a weird rubber puck and some washers to hold that up. So we will take and put an isolator back in there. If I remember right, in the beginning of this video I said something about taking the C-pan off to get to the fuel lines. That's not how this works. I don't know what I was thinking. The fuel lines run under the frame and up through the bottom, so the C-pan doesn't do that. So I just removed the C-pan to do taillight stuff and replace that part there. Okay. I did say I wanted to check the transmission fluid. Obviously removing the C-pan didn't really free up too much space for that either. But it is a little low. At least it's on the, I can't see it, there it is. At least it's on the stick still, that's nice, but we obviously need a little bit more, so we should do that. Alright, it might be a little tough to see on here, but the line is right, the line is right here. Right about where the E is on safe. So that should be fine. Of course I'll check it again after it's been running a little bit to make sure it doesn't go down. It's about 90 degrees today, so I had to give my GoPro a little rest from the heat. So I did a couple things off camera. I decided I wanted to lift up the fuel tank a little bit, so there was these little tabs holding that down. They just screw in from here, so I just took those off. Now I'll be able to lift this up because, sorry, the fuel line attaches right inside the frame right there, so it was a little hard to get to with the gas tank how it was. So now I'll make up a gas line and hook that up. I shut the fuel off now. Hopefully that actually shuts it off. I'm going to cut the line. I've got my vice grip at the ready in case it still starts to drain. And there's probably some in the line anyway, but my plan is to cut the line back here so I can take it off up at the carburetor up here. It just comes off right here, and then I can get the front all set up and then run the line to the back, cut it to length, and then pull that final chunk off the back and then just hook it up right away. I've got a pan set up underneath for what oil may drop, for what fuel may come out. Now I'll cut it. Sweet, looks like the shutoff works. It's good to know. Now we can get this line pulled off the front. Hopefully this line isn't too stuck on there. We can just slice the line because obviously we don't need it anymore. I don't like how loose that fitting is. Apparently. I'm going to pull the clamp off of it while it's up here. And then it just feeds through the frame down here. You can pull that out. And yeah, it's not terribly stiff, but it's not a bad thing that we're replacing it. Now we'll go ahead and feed the new line up through that spot in the frame here and see if we can okay, oh there we go, that wasn't so bad. Okay. Might need a different clamp for that. Oh yeah, it's perfect. All right. Oh, I put the clamp the wrong way. Alright. The new line is much thicker than the old one, so I'm going to have to use just a screw style clamp on this instead of the pinchy style like this one. Alright, found a clamp. Sure do have a mess going. Anyway, I finished up the gas line back here, and I didn't think you guys needed to see the cutting and putting on of this, so I ran it a little differently than it was originally. It was pulled pretty tight against here. I didn't like it. It was kind of kinked right at the fitting there, so I didn't really like that, and it ran down there along the frame, which was probably fine, but I just thought maybe it'd be better if it went, you can't really see it, but it went up. It goes up over the frame. Just maybe a little more clearance. I don't know. It's probably fine. So yeah, that's done. So now we can drop the tank back down and move on to getting the seat on the fender pan and getting the fender pan put back on. We're gonna take this old seat off. You can tell it wasn't the original seat anyway, because it's got this plug-in, which these didn't have. So yeah, there's just these two 9/16 bolts in the back here holding it on, and then there's just two of these up front, so it's easy to loosen up the seat to move it front and back. So those just come off. And this is the plate under the pan. So the 9/16 bolt goes through the seat pan into there, and then this knob goes on there on the front. So you can see the rail for the seat rides in this groove. So this part tightens all the way to the fender pan, and then it leaves that gap there for the seat to slide back and forth when you adjust it. So when you're adjusting the seat, you just have to loosen that up, and then the seat can move back and forth. I got the new seat brackets over here now. They look a little bit too nice for this tractor, to be honest. I'm gonna just put the brackets on themselves right now. The fender pan does become a little bit heavy and cumbersome with the seat on there, and the seat's not too hard to get on once the fender pan is on the tractor, so that shouldn't be an issue getting that on there. So we'll just get these mounted, and then the last thing is somebody put these aftermarket lights on the back of this thing. I already took one of the covers off because you need to hold that screw with a Phillips. And the reason I want to take them off is these like hardwire in, and the originals have a bulb that just plug into that, which is much nicer. I'm hoping this one will work with that piece broken there, but we'll see. These are off a couple of the parts tractors, so they're not in great shape. I'll probably end up getting new ones, but they're gonna have to work for now. But let's get these seat brackets mounted. Okay, got those seat brackets bolted on. Now let's get these taillights out of here. this one's all bent. So we'll try and unbend it. There, that'll work. Just snap that end off. I started putting the OEM lights back on. This one had that broken tab. Come on, light. This had that broken tab right here. It looks like there was just enough poking through to get the nut to go on there. They just have these little, I don't know if you want to call them speed nuts or what, but they got plastic little tabs that come out that the nut just kind of creates its own threads on there. It's kind of a, I don't know, it's not the best design, I don't think, but it works. They just, the plastic gets brittle and they shear off like that. So, but whatever, we'll work with it. I'm just glad that one held on. So, let's get the rest of it on. All right, let's get this new seat put on here. Okay, I got the fender panel bolted in. I put these carriage bolts, I put those in off camera because nobody needs to see me struggle that much. But yeah, it's starting to come together. Obviously the paint is garbage, but I don't know. I don't mind it. I just got to get these two knobs put back in. And then we can get the rear tires back on and hopefully be mowing with this thing soon. It's the next morning here. Last night I ran out of daylight and storage on my memory card, so I had to shut it down. It's a little cloudy today, so things are a little darker, but we shouldn't have that much more to do to finish this up, so let's get to it. So last night I finished up, got all these knobs put back on. So now I believe we just need to get the tires on and strap the battery down. We got this battery tie down strap. Just try and work it underneath the tray here. I think that's actually going to work pretty good as long as it doesn't loosen up. That'd be my only concern, so this time will tell, but that is really sturdy. I think I'm just going to cut that and maybe burn it so it doesn't unravel. Yeah, that should work. Alright, starting to look like a tractor again. Last thing we gotta do is get the deck put on. My neighbor just decided to mow, so hopefully that's not too loud in the background while I'm talking. I do have a short, I'll link it right here, about putting the deck onto a 318. It's pretty similar, a couple small differences, but if you would like to see that, you can click on that right here. I've got the wrong belt on my mule drive. This is a 318, 322 belt. They are longer for those tractors, so I will have to find my shorter belt. I don't know if you can read this, but for future reference, the 318, 322, that style of tractor takes a M82718 belt. These 300s of the closed frame tractors take a M45254 belt for the mid-mount mower. Hopefully that helps somebody. Okay, let's try this again. I got the mower deck on. I'm just gonna grab my little height setting tool. I'm not gonna level the deck or anything right now. I honestly don't care that much. I'm just going to get it to the height that I want, just so it's not cutting more than I want. And then we'll test it out, and that should be it. Okay, I got my little height gauge here. You just put this, the blade's right here. You just put that under the blade, and you can see, like right now, it's at about 2 inches. There. You can see that's sitting at about 2 inches, maybe a little bit more, but want it just a little higher than that, I think. So we'll start up the tractor and raise it up a little bit. About 3. Okay, I think I'm gonna go just a little lower than that. I want it just over 2.5, I think. Okay, that's sitting at about where I want it. Leave a comment down below at what you like to cut your grass at. Maybe I should change. But now that we have it set, we can run this. Oh, we can run this up. All right, and now run the lock down tight. There, and now the deck will only go down that far. We're out in the backyard now. I'm gonna try mowing with it now, see how it does. On the way, bringing it back here, it wouldn't rev quite as high as I'd like, so I probably will have to adjust that, but I can do that later. Well, let's try it out. All right, looks like that was a success. The PTO runs, the mule drive is making a little bit of noise, so I have a few other mule drives I can try. So I might swap that out. I do think I need a little bit more revs out of it, so I'll try and adjust that. Other than that, I think it's working great. I'm excited to mow with it again. I do forget how much more effort it takes to steer these without the power steering. I've been using the 318 for a while now, so but that's all right. I actually really enjoy using this tractor. It's just it's cool to have something running that's this old. So I do want your opinion though. I think this color is a little sun faded, or it was repainted and not quite the right John Deere color, but I actually really like this color. It kind of looks more 70s to me than the actual John Deere egg and turf green. But obviously the fender pan is pretty rough. I blew off some stuff, just it had spider webs and things on it, and grass clippings and all that. So I blew it off, and it was blowing off flakes of paint, and you know, it's obviously rusting. All the stickers are rusted off of it. So I would like your opinion on whether I should take all the paint off and repaint it the actual John Deere green, or maybe if I just strip the paint off of the fender deck and try and match the hood, and so I don't have to touch any of this because the decals are pretty good on the hood, or I just leave it and just run it as is. Obviously, I have a couple other tractors that I'll be working on before I get to this one, so I have some time to decide, but I'm just curious what you guys would think, if I should just try and restore this thing or just leave it as is and use it as a workhorse. I'm kind of up in the air on that. So anyways, if you feel like you learned something from this video or just enjoyed it, please hit that like button. If you want to see what else I do to this tractor and my other projects, please subscribe. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Compressor.